One more game.
Yeah, that's gonna be the true test, ain't it?
Be a good challenge.
I know it will be.
Fact, if they lose, it may be a good.
That's what somebody else just said the same thing yesterday. It might knock them down.
Down,
To
to
get them back, yeah,
Get them back to reality.
yep, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe Everett was that bad. Holy cow.
Oh, I told you I was. Look, somebody would tackle.
I know.
I didn't want to score again. It's like, tapping, I got.
I thought for sure they'd get 70.
So they pay all the second in there. It's like,
Yeah.
tackle that guy. I know. We don't want to run up the score.
Right.
Not how you do things.
No, exactly.
But then again, you can't tell those guys that all getting false.
No, right.
Hold back.
Yeah.
That was a tough game. to watch.
I know. Long bus ride home forever, I'm guessing. No, it wasn't. No. Yeah, that the one guy that Hopkins is regularly.
I felt
Pretty good.
Hunter, I can't, this is told me it's like logged in too many times.
Is that possible?
For you today.
Can you just log in? Well, you know what, I can forget it, I don't need to be done, I can just get on.
Watch. Yeah.
I should just go. This, forget it.
Yeah.
I can't.
Independent or incumbent, okay.
Incumbent, yep.
Okay, so that's not partisan.
Wants to re-up.
Yeah.
All back through it, all back through it.
Once we got. Well, we had issues getting struck.
Yeah.
That's been good.
What was there? Accepted?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
We got Uber Dex.
So that's about done.
Smart one, new brain.
Well.
You get out of the tractor and on the computer.
We've been lucky, man.
Like, can't you, put Wi-Fi in the tractor?
Right.
I actually,
Yeah, don't they drive themselves? You can be on the computer.
that's the bad thing. I was actually doing that, checking my text while right now mine was doing all the stuff, but then you'll miss that rock.
Yeah,
You'll pay for it. but
right.
No, you just let it do itself and.
It's weird. Wrong computer.
Call the Finance Committee of the whole to order and join me in the pledge, please.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Madam Clerk, the roll call, please.
Commissioner Weber,
Here.
Commissioner Campbell.
Here.
Commissioner Jelazinski.
Here.
Commissioner Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Sweeney.
Here.
Commissioner Engler,
Here.
Commissioner Hope,
Here.
all present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Up next will be approval of the agenda. We'll start with general public comments on agenda items only and limited to 3 minutes. We have no presentations or special reports. We've got a couple of appointments to boards and commissions. And then under committee reports, we have several items of business, 9 business items to get through, and then no intergovernmental affairs, any administrator controller issues, no unfinished business, no new business. We'll have general public comment again, and then announcements and then adjournment. So with that, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Jelazinski. Support.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an agenda. So general public comments. Anyone for general public comment? Anyone online? Is that nobody online? Okay, no one for general public comment. We will move right along to appointments and boards and commissions. Item A is consider appointing one member to the Human Rights Committee at large representative for a 3-year term ending September 1st, 2028, or until its successor is appointed. And we have the incumbent, Philip Micus, who would like to, sign on for another term. He's been on that committee for a while. So appreciate him. So we will consider that at next Tuesday's meeting. And then item B is consider approving one Republican Party member and one Democratic Party member using a ballot provided at the meeting to serve on the Isabella County Board of Canvassers for the 4-year term ending October 31st, 2029. And we do have in our packet the list of applicants. We've got 3 from each party. You want to speak to that or? No.
Sure, I'm actually served on that committee before. Of course, Gladys Strong has been there for a long time, a lot of history there, so I think you got a good learning the process. I think it's a good experience, learning how things go. Well, at least when I was on the committee, they always worked well together, making sure that all the i's were dotted and the t's were crossed, and that's very well, so. Yeah, I think all the candidates are good. I know, Mr. Davis pretty well. But I think all of them would fit on the Republican side. You know, I speak to the Democrats because I know most of them I know, so I know Stephanie. But I think you got an incumbent running, so.
Have an incumbent, Tim Caldwell, who's done that job for a while
It
now.
used to be, before the early voting, you only had a couple days, but now for early voting, it's a little more time requirement than what it used to be, so.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's good lesson in democracy, so.
Yep. Okay. And with that, we will move along to committee reports, and the first item, Finance Committee of the Whole is consider ratifying and placing on file the October 3rd, 2025 invoice list in the amount of $371,354.90. The October 10th, 2025 invoice list in the amount of $411,562.41, and the adjustment list dated October 2nd, 2025. And Administrator Smith, do you want to walk us through this?
Yes, please. First, for the October 3rd list of $371,354.90. The general fund portion of that is $187,176.12. This list was sent out to the board previous when it was done, and on this first page is listed all the invoices over $5,000 that are to be paid. Some of the notable invoices, we have hats for $5,961.54 for the biweekly animal control contract. MRP properties for $17,091.46 for the rent at the 510 and 614 West Pickard locations. University of Michigan Health, $16,335.55 for medical examiner. And then we got 3 large invoices to GNS Mechanical, which is related to HVAC equipment that was done by facilities to take care of some AC units, some furnaces, and some case coils. Steve was able to get some of those done before the end of the year, which is a good thing. So slowly getting some of these HVAC equipment brought up to workable conditions, let's put it that way. So good job on that one, Steve, for getting those done.
Okay, any questions on that October 3rd list? Okay.
Sorry, I got it. for the October 10 list. Total amount of $411,562.41. We got a lot of large items. That was to the Michigan Tax Tribunal from the Treasurer's Office related to petitioner's counsel. So there are some larger ticket items on there. And then we have another Preston Community Services for equalization contract, hats, which is $6,730.77 for the new biweekly amount. And then we got Chase Bank and CMU Bookstore for restitution from the clerk's office.
Yes, sir.
Just a question, dealing with the Michigan Tax Tribunal. The petitioner and petitioner's counsel, it's kind of new. In the past, we've seen the specific entities that are getting a return to taxes. Is that something that's changed? You know, they list those, or is that a new category?
We have to follow the order from the tribunal, and usually it goes back to the attorney and then they disperse it. They're represented, so all of those are probably going back to like the same person, same entity,
Okay,
and then they'll disperse it to the taxpayer.
all right, thank you.
Any other questions on the October 10th list?
And then after that, we have the adjustments list dated October 2nd. This list right here is for any invoices that could be prepaid or paid for avoidance of late fees or early discounts. As you'll see, we got the usual ones of Consumer Energy, Gordon Food Service. And then on the next little section there are some ones that were changed to correct entry errors. So that would show up on this list as well, along with some additional DTE Energy and other ones related to such.
Okay. Any questions on the adjustment list? All right, hearing none, we'll move that to next week's meeting. And item 2 is consider approving the Spicer Group professional services contract for Isabella County Administration building renovation and authorize a board chairperson to sign the same. We have that staff report.
Is anybody waiting online to get in the, okay. Dave Marr is supposed to be,
So you're waiting, I'll make a few comments.
sure.
Yeah.
So these just came in Monday, so that's why someone was late because we didn't have the actual numbers on here, and I think that it's obvious which direction we need to go, so going forward, I think everybody agrees that leasing is such a ridiculously expensive option, especially with inflation and everything else, and so for the long term. So also going this direction, we're talking a 50-year building. So it'll be for the future, 50 years that this building should last, so. We'll have that discussion, but I'm just filling in time.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, we were reaching out and trying to get him on cell phone. I apologize. We did verify, so something was.
That's okay.
Now, right now, we're just basically, going forward for the design. This is for the design to go for construction bids. There's another option in there for project manager, which we don't have to decide on if we want to go with them or we want to hire somebody else. But this is just to finish the design. They've done a lot of work on it. You could go out, you could go out for a rebid, but it would come in, if anybody that came in would have to start all over and do that. So
David Marr is on right
Okay.
now,
go
so,
ahead.
Great.
David, can you hear us okay? You're muted, sir. Do I have to?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I always have issues with Zoom for some reason.
We just introduced the topic, so if you could kind of go over what you sent to me on Monday, then we can, maybe then we'll have further questions for you.
Sure. So I believe what we did was we sent you a proposal for continue, well, completing a design project for the administration building, completing all the renovations for the project. And we plan to do that as what's called a design bid build method. So we would do the design, and then we would put it out for bids to, we can do a public bid, or we can do an invitation only bid. I think you would have to check with your attorney just to make sure that you can do an invitation only. Sometimes municipalities have to do a public bid. But we would put it out for bid. We would assist in answering questions from contractors, and then we would receive the bids, tabulate them, and then meet with you to go over those bids, where you could select a what we'll call the most qualified bidder. And again, that's another thing that you'd have to check with your attorney to make sure that you don't have to take the lowest bid. I believe you can take the best qualified or most qualified bidder. And we can help you quantify that and provide documentation on that. At that point, you would have a fixed number going into the bond process.
Just a quick comment is that our policy, we do not have to accept the lowest bid. Of course, we always try to do local contractors whenever possible, but of course, if the bid's extremely high, then we will look at cost on that, but so we do not have to take the lowest bid, because sometimes the lowest bid is not the best bid out there. So just so you know, that's not something that I can take to the lawyers, because we've already done that. So
Okay, well, that's good. And that's why we say the most qualified bidder, because you're absolutely correct. Lowest bid is not necessarily the best bid.
Yep, and I would think, I don't know if we can do an invite only bid, but I don't see a scenario where we would want to. I think we just want to put it out for public bids and see what comes back. Yes, sir.
Just a kind of short history. We have a couple of new commissioners on. We did have a committee about a year and a half ago that kind of looked at this and worked to come up with a preliminary conceptual design. And it kind of hit against the wall. There was staff concerns about the design. There were people from the public that were providing opinions on how we should proceed. And so we have a new county administrator that came in and decided, it's probably best to wait and give it another look. But I know as we continue on, I see that in the narrative here, it does say that the starting point is that I think the conceptual design that we had about a year and a half ago. So I think Spicer Group would be meeting with, I think I read in here, we'll continue to meet with staff. But back then we had $750,000 budgeted, and we were going to continue that to be able to pay off a bond. Well, this year we only have $500,000 budgeted. And I'm thinking inflation's probably gone up, so the cost of the project's gonna go up. So I hope all the pieces fall together that we can finally move on. The one question I get every time from every township I go, what are we doing with this? So I am pleased to see that we're moving ahead, but I think we do need to keep our focus on the finances. And hopefully before we have a need to make a decision, we'll have the long range 5-year, 10-year projection. I think that's going to be very important, at least for me to make a vote in that.
Agree with that 100%. And we will, through this process, we will have hard numbers. When we go out for a bond, we'll know exactly what we need. I think we need to move on this. Leasing is only gonna get more expensive. 510 West Picker does not suit our needs very well. We're making do with it, but it's not, ideal by any means. We did have at one time a plan where we were just gonna redo 2 floors, keep 1 vacant to possibly lease out. And then connect part of the old correctional facility for storage. And we've kind of scratched that and gone back to doing all 3 floors. The existing building, nothing with the old correctional facility. And it says here, under scope of professional services, preliminary design for all 3 floors was completed under the previous project. We will use that plan to meet with each department head to finalize department layouts. We will provide a final preliminary design for building committee review and sign off. So there will be interaction again with department heads to make sure that the space meets their needs. And so I think that'll be a good process. David Mars, pretty familiar with that process and pretty skilled at navigating that process, so. I do have a question, David. If we wanted to look this over and look for savings, and I would think that finishes would be a big area to identify possible savings. What would be the ideal point in time to do that?
I believe that would be one of the first things that we would do. There is a potential, I haven't calculated savings on it, but it's considered a simplistic design versus what I'm going to call this a complex design, but it's not really as complex as it, could be. But we are putting in specific offices, specific areas that I don't know how it's going to, how that's going to work with the existing furniture and equipment that you guys currently have. And, this was a thing that we talked about many times, is that with all of that furniture being in multiple storage locations and packedly and tightly packed, that could, we can't really verify any of that information to see how it fits on the plan. So there's some other options to look at that I think I would bring forward to you guys right up front, and then we could discuss those before we even meet with department heads.
Okay, yep, sounds good. Little value engineering, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Mars, could you explain to the group? I know there's a lot of people that don't understand the difference between a project manager and a construction manager and the roles that they do. I know you might want to just, for the board, to explain the difference of them.
Sure. So first of all, you have a general contractor. A general contractor works from a set of plans. They bid on the project from those plans against other general contractors, and then they execute those plans. They will put a person on site to oversee everything, make sure it all gets done, and then we deal with the general contractor. A construction manager is usually brought in at an earlier point in the design process, and the construction manager works directly with the architect to validate costs. So for example, we're working on a school up north, and we're working with a construction manager, and we have a specific budget to meet, because it's a bond, like what you guys are going to be doing. And so as we design the project, the construction manager takes our drawings and they do constructability reviews on them and come back with prices. And during that, they assign risk to those prices because they don't know exactly where we are with the final design, because they're doing it maybe at 30% and at 50% complete design. And then the farther along we get, the more they can remove that risk and tighten that fee down, so that they can offer the client a guaranteed maximum price. And so basically it keeps, they keep us in check, we keep them in check, so that we can all make that budget work. And then the construction manager will then take those drawings, and they'll bid them out in a transparent form so that you guys will see everything. You'll see every nut and bolt, the cost of every nut and bolt that goes into the project, basically. And whereas in a general contract, you're at the mercy of the contractor. The contractor, if they had, $50,000 in there to buy their foreman a new boat, you'll never know that. But in a CM work, every invoice is submitted to the client for review, should they want to review it. So the construction manager acts more as a manager rather than an actual contractor, if that makes sense.
Yep, thank
Yes,
you
yeah.
for the clarification.
Any other questions?
So
Comment?
if we agreed to this contract, would that eliminate Spicers as a bidder for the project?
We do not do construction, so we just do architectural work.
Okay,
But we would bid the project for you. That part of that contract is we would put those bids out on the street. Now, depending, your purchasing department may want to do that work. We would assist them in that. If they don't want to do that, then we can do it via our methods, and then we oversee all of that, so that any questions a contractor has, we'll answer those questions, and then issue any addenda to the bidding process, any other, maybe the plan needs to be corrected a little bit to be more clear. We'll do all of that as part of that bidding process. And then once we receive the bids, again, we'll total those bids and tabulate them so that you see everybody's bid. Now, when we do a design bid build, we basically look for a lump sum for total construction, but we will ask, excuse me, we will ask the contractor to break out his bid in a manner of, we want to see what the site work costs. In this case, there's very little site work. There's a couple steps and sidewalks, but we'll want to see site work. We'll want to see their main work, which is what we call the architectural stuff. We'll separate out the mechanical, the plumbing, and the electrical. And then depending on other aspects, we break out some of those things. That is mainly just so we can validate and say, yeah, this runs in line with what we're seeing with other projects. But we don't base the award on those bids. Or those numbers. We only base the award on the final lump sum to complete the project.
Once the project's released out for bid, how long does it stay out there? How many weeks?
In this particular case, I would recommend it's a minimum of 4 weeks, possibly 5. I usually try to keep it to 4 weeks though. And we would we would also host at the facility a mandatory pre-bid walkthrough. So contractors will have to come in, walk through the building, make sure that they're, familiar with the site and what's going on in order to actually put in a bid.
Yeah, and I do believe that the pre-walkthrough is to get all the bidders on the same boat. They actually understand they're all bidding. Without the pre-walkthrough, sometimes you get people not understanding what you're looking for. So this, everybody's answering the same questions. So it just clears it up a lot. It just seems to be a better process.
Yeah, that's why we make sure probably 90% of the bids we put out have a mandatory pre-bid meeting.
Okay.
Just thinking in the pre-walkthrough, it'd be nice to be able to invite county board members that haven't seen the interior of the building, so they have an understanding of what we're looking at.
It's a great idea.
And I would think that Mr. Shoemaker could arrange to walk us through there
We can go
anytime.
Yep.
Yeah, be a great idea. I've been through it since it's been emptied out, but it's been a little while. So. I think you have too, but
Early on.
yeah, early on.
In the
Yeah.
process.
Yep.
Are the contractors, are they locked into state labor rate?
Yes.
They are.
Yep. For a county, yes, they would have to do the state labor rate.
Any other questions, comments? Discussion?
Just one thing,
Yeah.
right now, I sent this out to legal, so this is pending legal review right now. I don't anticipate many changes to it and stuff, but if there are, you'll get the amended copy for the regular meeting. If not, if everything is good, then this one remain the same. So just want to let you know that this is still pending legal right now, but I will have it in time for the regular board meeting next Tuesday.
All right.
And Brian, just so you know, if your legal department requests an AIA contract, we can provide that.
Okay, thank you, David.
Yep.
Okay, I don't see any more questions. Mr. Marr, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Yep.
Have a great day, guys.
You too.
Thank you.
And we'll move that item to next week's regular session. Item 3 is consider approving the DeVos Farms Farmland Agreement application dated September 5th, 2025, Gilmore Township, and instruct the Isabel County Clerk to forward the approved application to the MDA Farmland and Open Space Program. And I believe our farmland agreement expert is
Mr. Swady's pretty good at it now too, so.
yeah, he's
we-
familiar with these. now,
We
too.
walk through them, so basically what we do is we'll go through and make sure that all the application is filled up properly, and then the board has always been in favor of the farmland agreements, and then we forward them on, so basically we're looking to make sure the application is correct. And I do see on the very first one that there is not a number of years on there, so that will have to be, hopefully we can get that corrected before the next meeting, so.
There's not a number of years on any of them, the DeVos farmland.
Okay, so those will have to be, hopefully we'll get them back and run forth. I said I have not had a chance to go through these. So the clerk will contact them and make sure I didn't, yeah. So we'll look at them when we get them back and make sure everything's, unless there's somebody that has a disagreement on there, but we've always supported them, so.
Yeah, our only criteria has been that the form was filled out correctly.
Because if it's not, it gets sent in and then it gets kicked back and it just delays the process, so anyway, so. We will get them corrected and we'll have a chance to look at them before our Tuesday's meeting. If everything looks good, we will vote on them.
Okay, and the next three items are all the Boss Farms farmland agreement applications. So I don't see the point in reading through each and every one.
No, for this part, we
There are
gotta,
4 total.
and I think what is it? Yeah, minimum is 10 years and the maximum is 9 years, so. Well, that has to be filled in before we can move them forward.
Okay. Any comments? Questions? All right, we will move those items to next week's meeting. Brings us down to item 7, which is consider accepting the Isabella County Drain Commissioners 2025 annual report as presented and file the report with the county clerk. Mr. Willoughby?
Actually, just same as last year, we have no new projects on this.
We have to work very hard this year. It's been so
No.
dry that it's like.
I've been vacationing.
I can see the fields where the tile line do exist, the beads go like this. So there's already moisture, seems to be working, so,
It's been kind of a slow year,
yeah.
but I'd say there's numerous maintenance issues in here, but no new project.
That's good, right?
Do we have any questions?
Well, there's still tile out there 50 years ago that was laid by hand. And those are deteriorating clays. Yeah, we've dug up a lot of our personal tile. A lot of times you almost gotta ignore them, just run new lines.
I mean, yeah, they're 100 years old. I'm curious to see how well this plastic's gonna be in 100 years. See.
A lot of the bigger lines you're using concrete, are you? Not a lot?
But we use it in road crossings and that, but in the fields, no, we're basically
Just use plastic.
plastic. Well, they make it up to 60-inch now.
If we can figure a way to use some of that recycled material, the tile will be
Yeah.
all set. There you go.
Just a real quick question. Where are we at with the study on the dam in Wakeman?
Meeting with my engineer this afternoon. It's coming along. That's dealing with Eagle.
Okay.
That's, yeah, let's see, I'll know more this afternoon.
Okay. All right,
Just Bella Dam got inspected a few weeks ago and we're at that little one up at Stevenson that we're working on too, that needs some, it's getting bad.
any other questions? Okay, we'll move that to next week's meeting and next item 8 is consider adopting the 2025 drain tax apportionment for the Isabella County taxpayer. In that packet. Keep pressing and calling for the next.
No, and I'll explain it when we. get to
Okay.
dates.
Okay,
If there's a typo on the date, and then.
oh,
I'll explain
gotcha,
it.
okay. Any questions on the drain tax apportionment report?
Well, one thing you'll see on this is when you have the county at large, on that, that is the amount that'll be the column. Goes township and township at large and county at large, that is what the county is obligated to pay, and it usually comes out in February, March of next year, but on this current year's fiscal budget. So that's where we get these numbers from. We have to estimate when we do the budget, but then these become the actual.
And those amounts are dependent upon which drain and they all have different interest percentages that apply.
And different, yes, different costs associated with each, and that's why it's kind of broken up by all the different drains and stuff like that, so we're apportioned on a percentage of all that.
Regular in every drain.
So it's a good thing we don't have any new projects this year.
Right. There's some coming.
Mhm.
I still throw all the drains that we have. There's more than a couple.
I guess.
Mhm.
Okay. We will move that item to next week's meeting, and number 9 is consider approving the 2025 apportionment report as presented by the Equalization Department. Mr. Smith.
Just a quick explanation, I guess in the past, the equalization director would come in and present this in person to the board. I think on this one, he has presented to the county board on Tuesday, October 14th. And presenting to this board at that time, I think it should have been on the 21st, which would be next Tuesday's regular meeting. So he will be here, I'm assuming, at next week's regular meeting and not presenting it today. This is just kind of getting it on the radar and getting it on the agenda. But the actual report will be presented next Tuesday.
Any questions on that? Okay, we'll move right along to general public comments. Anyone for general public comment? Seeing no one. If you're online, use the raised hand function. Or just chime in. Okay, seeing no one for general public comment, announcements, or any announcement? Yes, sir.
I just wanted to share with the commissioners that I was fortunate enough to go on a tour of the solar farms and battery capacity sites in Calhoun County. It was very interesting, especially the battery capacity thing, which only has to take up for 100 megawatts, only has to take up 7 acres. And seemed like a lot of them will just be right next to a station, a power station, you know, that distributes the engines, I mean, the electricity. It was quite amazing. And one end goes the output from like turbines or solar farms. And then it charges up the batteries. They're really small, but they're in ship container size enclosures. And then when it's charged up, it can go to any place on the grid where there's a shortage of power, and it continuously does that. There's not much people working there. I think there was only one guy. There's a lot of technology involved, and I hope that someday we can have some in Isabella County, since we have a lot of this same kind of setup. And also it can even be in cities. I mean, it's quite a small improvement with different kinds. And so that's what I was real excited about. Plus they have a lot of, one of the things that happened because of that in their township, they got this huge fire truck that's made by the monster truck people. It's really huge. It has water cannons on both sides, and the guy really loved it.
Okay, any other announcements? Seeing none, Is there a motion to adjourn?
Don't move, Jelazinski.